To the county highway crew and the modern industrial farmer, this plant is a nuisance. It is a woody, unruly weed that clogs the edges of fields and demands to be sprayed or bulldozed. But if you walk into a pharmacy or a health food store during flu season, you will find extracts of this same weed, locked behind glass or sold for upwards of $50 a bottle. We are talking about a shrub that produces a fruit so potent, it creates a biological barrier against viruses. It is a plant that sustained indigenous populations and European settlers for centuries. It is not sweet right off the branch, it does not ship well, and it requires something the modern world has forgotten how to give: time and participation. This is the story of the elderberry. It is the story of how we bulldozed our most powerful natural medicine to make room for more corn, only to buy it back in an overpriced plastic bottle. Welcome to Ancestral Yields. If you want to reclaim the forgotten knowledge of the soil, make sure to like this video and subscribe. To understand the magnitude of what we have lost, we have to look at how the ancients viewed this plant. In 400 BC, Hippocrates, the Greek physician regarded as the father of medicine, did not prescribe synthetic compounds. He pointed to the elder tree. He called it his medicine chest because every part of the plant, the bark, the leaves, the flowers, and the berries, had a specific utility in treating ailments ranging from dropsy, also known as edema, to respiratory infection. As we move north into the folklore of Denmark and Northern Europe, the respect for the plant deepens into reverence. The elder was believed to be inhabited by a spirit known as the Hilda Mor, or the Elder Mother. Woodcutters and farmers would not dare cut down an elder bush without first reciting a prayer asking the Elder Mother for permission. While we might dismiss this as superstition today, it functioned as a sophisticated form of resource management. It ensured that a critical community resource, a source of food, wine, and medicine, was never harvested to extinction. Interestingly, the botanical name of the plant, Sambucus, has a deep cultural footprint that stretches into the world of music and spirits. The name is derived from the Greek sambuke, a term for a traditional stringed instrument, a small triangular harp. Historically, these instruments were often crafted from the wood of the elder tree because its branches have a soft, easily hollowed-out pith which leaves behind a hard, resonant tube of wood. The world-famous Italian liqueur Sambuca shares its name with the plant, while modern commercial Sambuca is primarily flavored with star anise. The original recipes were based on a syrup of elderberry, or used the flowers to create the complex, medicinal profile the drink was originally prized for. It was a digestive aid and a social tonic, literally medicine in a glass. Long before European settlers arrived, Native American tribes used the Native American elderberry, Sambucus canadensis. They dried the berries for winter preserves, often called sauce, and they used hollowed-out stems to craft flutes, blowguns, and taps for maple sugaring. When settlers arrived, they did not need to plant orchards of elderberry. They simply stewarded the abundance that was already growing along creek beds and fence lines. It was a plant that bridged the gap between the old world and the new, valued equally by all who relied on the land for survival. So, if the elderberry was so essential, why did it disappear from our daily lives? The turning point came in the 1970s, during the tenure of Earl Butz, the Secretary of Agriculture under Presidents Nixon and Ford. This was the era when the philosophy of farming shifted from husbandry to industry. Butz famously issued a command to American farmers: get big or get out. He pushed for the consolidation of small, diverse family farms into massive monoculture operations. To achieve the efficiency required for this new model, The physical landscape of the farm had to change. Butts urged farmers to plant from fencerow to fencerow. Historically, farms were patchwork quilts divided by hedgerows, messy wild borders of shrubs and trees that separated pastures. These hedgerows were the natural habitat of the elderberry. They were the reservoirs of biodiversity. But to a tractor driver trying to maximize corn yields, the hedgerow was an obstacle, wasted space. Throughout the late 20th century, millions of miles of hedgerows were ripped out across the American Midwest and Europe. The edge of the farm was eliminated to make room for another few rows of soy. When we destroyed the hedgerow, we destroyed the elderberry. We traded the medicine chest for cheap animal feed. Simultaneously, our palate changed. The post-war era was the age of convenience. We wanted snackable fruit, blueberries, and grapes that were sweet, firm, and safe to eat right out of the box. Elderberry is a high-maintenance fruit. It is tart, it stains your hands, and as we will discuss, it must be cooked. But while the industrial food system abandoned the elderberry, the chemistry of the plant remained unchanged. And the science behind it is staggering. However, you must understand the risks, because elderberry is a plant that demands respect. Unlike a strawberry, you cannot simply walk up to an elder bush and graze. The leaves, stems, roots, and raw unripe berries are toxic, and they contain cyanogenic glycosides, a compound called Sambucus. If you eat them raw, your digestive system converts those compounds into hydrogen cyanide. This will not necessarily kill you, but it will cause severe nausea, vomiting, and weakness. Heat is the key. Boiling the berries for at least 15 to 20 minutes degrades the glycosides, rendering the fruit perfectly safe and unlocking its medicinal power. And that power is undeniable. We are often told by marketing campaigns that the cultivated blueberry is the king of antioxidants. Let's look at the actual numbers. According to a comprehensive study by the USDA and the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, cultivated blueberries contain roughly 386 milligrams of anthocyanins per 100 grams, which is 3.5 ounces. That is impressive. But the elderberry contains up to 1,375 milligrams per 100 grams. That is nearly 4 times the antioxidant density. In terms of immune support, it is the heavyweight champion. But it isn't just about general wellness. The elderberry has a specific mechanical function against viruses. A landmark double-blind, placebo-controlled study conducted in Norway during an influenza outbreak revealed remarkable results. Patients suffering from flu A and flu B who took elderberry extract recovered 4 days faster than those on a placebo. How does it do this? The science suggests that flavonoids in the elderberry bind to the tiny protein spikes on the surface of the virus, known as hemagglutinin. Imagine the virus has a key it uses to unlock and enter your cells. Elderberry compounds essentially gum up the keyhole. It physically inhibits the virus's ability to pierce the cell wall and replicate. It is a functional, mechanical defense system provided by nature. Because the science is so compelling, nature eventually forced the market to pay attention. Fast forward to the modern day, and we are witnessing a massive cultural U-turn. In 2020, amidst global health concerns, the demand for immune support exploded. Sales of elderberry supplements in the United States skyrocketed, surpassing $275 million annually. According to reports from the American Botanical Council, elderberry sales grew faster than almost any other herbal supplement on the market, experiencing triple-digit growth percentages in mainstream retail channels. There is a profound irony here. The same agricultural system that spent decades spraying and bulldozing wild elderberries is now scrambling to import elderberry concentrate from Europe to meet consumer demand. We destroyed the free source in our backyard, only to pay a premium for a processed version in a plastic bottle. This revival is driven by a realization that the clean industrial farm failed to provide for our health. We are seeing a boom in demand not just for the syrup, but for the plants themselves. Nurseries are selling out as a new generation of homesteaders realizes that the easiest way to secure their supply is to opt out of the system and plant the ditch weed back in the ground. You do not need to rely on the pharmacy to get this. Elderberry is one of the easiest plants to grow in North America, thriving in United States Department of Agriculture zones 3 through 9. In fact, it prefers the spots in your yard that other plants hate: the wet, boggy corners, the drainage ditches, and the partial shade. However, before you go foraging, you must be vigilant. There is a deadly look-alike, water hemlock. Water hemlock is one of the most toxic plants on the continent. A single bite of the root can kill an adult. Here is how to tell them apart. The stems. Elderberry stems are woody with bark and have a soft white pith inside. Water hemlock is an herbaceous perennial that dies back to the ground and has hollow, chambered stems. The berries. Elderberry hangs in drooping clusters when ripe in late summer to early fall. Water hemlock seeds stand up in umbrella-shaped clusters. The rule: if you are not 100% sure, do not eat it. The safest route is to plant it yourself. Another common look-alike is pokeweed. Pokeweed has berries on a single long, hot pink stem, whereas elderberry is a branching cluster. Pokeweed berries are toxic to humans. A final word of caution. Elderberry is potent medicine, and like all medicine, it has specific contraindications. Because it works by stimulating the immune system, essentially overclocking your cytokines, it may not be suitable for everyone. Individuals with autoimmune diseases, such as lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, or multiple sclerosis, should proceed with extreme caution or avoid it entirely, as stimulating the immune system could potentially trigger flare-ups. Additionally, due to a lack of clinical safety trials, standard medical advice often suggests that pregnant or breastfeeding women avoid concentrated elderberry supplements. As with any powerful wild plant, always consult a medical professional before adding it to your regimen. This is not medical advice. To grow your own, you do not even need seeds. Elderberry propagates incredibly well from hardwood cuttings. You can buy dormant sticks or rooted plants from reputable nurseries like Stark Bros, Fedco Trees, or strictly medicinal nurseries like Strictly Medicinal Seeds. Plant them in the spring. They are nitrogen lovers, so mulch them heavily with compost or wood chips. Because they are partially self-sterile, you should plant at least 2 different varieties, like Adams and Johns or York and Nova, within 60 feet of each other to ensure cross-pollination. Within 2 years, you will have a shrub producing pounds of medicine. The return of the elderberry is about more than just fighting the flu. It is about restoring the edge that we lost. We stopped growing this plant because it was inconvenient. It required cooking, it required care, and it required us to step outside of the industrial food system. But the trade-off was worth it. We traded convenience for vitality, and now we have the chance to make the trade back. You do not need to spend $50 for a bottle of syrup. You just need a shovel, a wet spot in the yard, and the patience to let the elder mother do her work. If you are ready to start growing it, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for ancestral yields. We have more lost crops to uncover. See you in the garden.